going to chat about the business side of the industry. And your experiences, your perspective in that. So sort of 6 different trends that I'm tracking in the industry. And if I'm missing some, let me know. Right? I'm open to it. I love to hear it. Okay, so the first one is that some people say the idea of making money by selling the actual music is kind of dying out. That it's harder and harder to, just sell a couple million records and make your money that way.
Exactly.
So how do you adapt to that? What do?
You kind of just have to embrace it, because that's the way it is, and it's not going to change. It's got its good side and its bad side, I guess. I mean, the good side is that people now, it used to be that you really need, if you were an act, if you were an artist, you needed a record company for their promo department.
Yeah.
Now with the internet, it's worldwide. You can get your music to anybody. You don't need a record company.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the great part. And you don't need somebody breathing down your neck saying, oh, you can't play that music. That's not going to sell. You can do whatever you want,
Right.
And honestly, you can make more money as an artist selling 5,000 records online than you would selling 100,000 for a record company, By the time they take their cut and this and that. It's great in that perspective. The other thing is, like, I remember a buddy of mine was a vice president at Sony Music back in the early days of the internet, and they had a meeting about, downloading music and everything. And the big wigs at Sony said, that's not a problem. It takes an hour to download a song. They weren't thinking of the high-speed stuff. And he said, listen, there's going to be a problem. And sure enough, you have a song like that,
That's right.
But, you kind of got to just go with it, I know the studio business has changed. A lot of the big studios that I used to work in New York are gone. And I find myself, most of the time, if I'm working for a producer, I go to his house. Just like we were doing with Peter upstairs. Everybody's got a home studio now. And you can make a record in your hotel room.
And they do.
And they do. It's great for creativity. I mean, I remember when I had my first little 4-track cassette recorder, you would always get a great performance, and you couldn't use it because it had tape hiss, tape would stretch or break or something. And now it's like, you're inspired and you get that great solo or something, you can keep it because it's digital, it's on, it's not going to change sound over the next 10 years,
Right.
Yeah. So it's got its good side. The record companies are dying. I mean, I think Atlantic Records, used to be the whole building over there. I think they have one floor with like 8 offices working and the rest are vacant. It's a whole.
Do you think they're going to kind of die out in the sense of cease to exist in what they used to be, or are they going to become something else? Are they going to reinvent themselves?
Yeah, I think they're going to have to rethink it, and because, like I said, I had friends, friends that worked for the major labels, and they would find all these artists on MySpace and everything, and they're great, offer them record deals, and they're like, I don't want a record deal. And I have my MySpace page, people, I can sell my tunes on iTunes,
Wow.
Yeah.
Turning it down.
Yeah, kids, well, it's different. All the kids now that are making music, they're used to, they were born in the computer generation and the internet and stuff. They don't know anything about the way the business used to work, 25 years ago.
So to them, saying, we'd like to give you a record deal is like saying, we'd like to profit off of you and take a large cut of everything you make.
I don't need to.
Right.
I'm doing what I want to do. Nobody's going to tell me, you can't do this song, it doesn't fit on the record. So that's the great part about it. I do enjoy that.
That is fun.
Yeah.
That is cool. All right, now the next one is kind of an out there thing that I noticed with Harley, and I wonder if it translates over to the music side. And the answer might be no, it doesn't. Right? But I wonder. Okay, and that's the concept of brand idea. So, for example, with Harley, when you think Harley, well, at least I do. You think I'm obsessed with Harleys. You think freedom. It's like this feeling that they represent.
Right.
So when it comes to when people think of your name or the records that you work on, the type of work that you do, what is that feeling or idea that you want them to think or to feel? Right. So when people say, "Oh yeah, Nicky Moroch's on that," what do you want them to?
I'd like them to say, "Oh, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy the record because I love his guitar playing." Versatility, I think, is the first thing that comes to mind. Which is probably why I had you know, hopefully continue to have a great run as a studio musician, you know, playing with different people, because, you know, I could adapt to pretty much any style of music, you know, and do it, and thank my parents for that. We grew up in a house where, you know, listened to Hank Williams, and from that to the Ventures, to the Beatles, to whatever, you know, I was exposed to all kinds of music. And probably at the time I was like, you know, but now, in the long run, it was great to be exposed to all that stuff at an early age, you know, because, you know, I've, you know, done so many different things, from, you know, Winona Judd to Madonna to, you know,
wow,
tango record for Girl in Italy, you know, it's just crazy. It's good. It's good. And I like it. I like it. I don't like being pigeonholed in one sort of thing.
Right. Well, they say that, where did I hear this from? It was from Paul Reed Smith himself, said that once a musician truly masters his art, then the next step is to naturally branch out into many different types of music like that. So it's a sign of your mastery. There you go.
Thank you. I don't know about that, but I'll take that.
Yeah, take it. Okay, now the next one is so we've had a major downturn in the economy, and so this is difficult for every industry. Everybody's having a hard time. How have you handled that? And is there any possible advantage to be had at all? Is there any way to kind of say, okay, it's a bad economy, you know, let's deal with it.
Right.
What can we do to find an advantage anyway?
I think that's what everybody has done. You know, it's like Ricky Peterson, keyboard player I play with all the time from Minneapolis. He's out with Stevie Nicks now all summer, but, you know, they couldn't sell tickets on their own, so they did a joint thing with Rod Stewart. I think a lot of people are doing that now because, you know, like, one on their own wasn't selling out places, but you put two together, they're selling out the venues and stuff, you know.
Right.
And yeah, I just think it's, you know, like I put together the Side Guys, a band when we're not doing something with David Zimmerman, so when we go out and play, you know, with all musicians who happen to be around, like Alex Lidgery, who used to sing with Carlos with Santana.
Yeah.
He's doing it with us, and Larry Bragg from Tower of Power and stuff, and we're playing up in New York. So like when everybody's around, we're like, hey, let's go do some gigs, you know, keeps us going, make a little money. And then, you know, hopefully get back to the other stuff.
Right. So it sounds like it's about partnership and collaboration and saying,
exactly,
let's team up. Exactly.
I think people's minds are opened up a little bit more, because I know a lot of guys would say, oh, I'm not going to play that stuff. Now it's like, yeah, I'm going to play it because it's a gig, and you know, I can't be turning stuff down. You know. Right.
So, that's a good thing, though, because when you get people together at that level, you see that collaboration, and we're seeing this here at the PRS Experience. You know, folks who would never normally play together on stage being thrown together, and it's phenomenal.
Like Tony, yesterday we were over at the Jetty, and Tony says, you know, I'm opening for Opeth. So Paul asked him to open the show tomorrow night for Opeth. And Tony says, I can guarantee that's the first and only time I open for Opeth. He goes, it's usually like the Chieftains or something.
Right. Something a little bit heavy, not Tony McManus and his acoustic.
Pretty funny, yeah.
That is going to be an unusual, that's just fire and ice right there.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing them.
That is going to be
fun.
That's going to be great. I want to see Tony McManus jam with Opeth.
So that would be hilarious.
That would be something.
You weren't at the NAMM show in California,
No.
were you? Actually, Peter Denenberg has it on video, and I got to get it because we all went up. Every guitar player that was at NAMM, I had them come up and we did Wild Thing. And Tony and Cody were playing electric guitar, and Tony took the solo on the electric guitar. It was hilarious. It was hysterical. It was great. And Peter has it. He has the video. We got to get it up on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
This is we had like 9, 10 guitar players playing the same song, and those guys wanted to play electric. Tony's like, I want to play the electric guitar.
That's cool.
It was really funny. It was great.
That's awesome. Now, a big movement is towards trying to get your customers, or in this case your fans, to organize themselves, to be big fans of your brand, for businesses, for you literally big fans of the music, and trying to get them to encourage themselves and say, hey, we want a show in this town, or we're all going to get together and demand a show. We want to sell out a venue for. Is there anything that musicians can do to encourage their fans to organize themselves like that? Or is it one of those odd things that just kind of happens?
I think it's just one of those odd things that happens. I mean, I know there's certain guys like, Government Mule, Warren Haynes and stuff, they have like fanatical followings. It's just, they do the, as soon as the show is over, it's up on the internet and you can buy it, you can download it and stuff. And it's great. I love the bands that have that kind of following, fanatical following of the fans. I just think it's something that happens if people are really into the music. And I find that a lot lately, that a lot of the younger kids are getting into that kind of, into the music of like the Government Mule and like real playing, like real guitar playing. And they just kind of fell into it. I don't know if they fell into their parents' records or something or whatever. But they're loyal and fanatical. Those kids,
and very social.
It's great.
Very
totally.
Very into sharing it with their friends.
Totally.
And getting groups together on on Facebook and things like that.
Totally.
Who else is going?
And I think Warren realizes like, hey, listen, man, somebody's going to have it up on YouTube regardless. So we're just going to make everything available. Every show we do. And the kids go nuts because like, oh my God, they did a cover of Bob Dylan's tune tonight, or they did a Humble Pie song last night. It's always different. And it's amazing.
And that's a bit of a key too, right? If every show they did was exactly the same, it wouldn't be quite as interesting.
That's why it's cool. And that's like our whole thing with the Side Guys project that I'm doing with Rick and everything. Is like we play everything from it's like guys that play in jazz bands and everything. We play everything from AC/DC to we do Back in Black and stuff. And people come to the show and they're just like, that was so great. We never picture you guys playing all this stuff. It's like we just play music we like because we like all types of music.
Right.
You can't pigeonhole yourself.
There you go. There you go.
I don't go home and just listen to one thing.
Right.
And I'm sure you don't either.
Oh no, lots of things. It's good for you. It gets in your head and encourages
and that's the thing. That's the thing that's great about PRS Experience. Everybody, it's like hanging out with Davey and Tony and everybody. And everybody likes what everybody else does, and there's no snobs, man. It's
and great. You've got this massive range. You've got Ricky Skaggs doing gospel style songs, very country style songs, all the way to Opeth
and Tony.
And Tony McManus. That's going to be fantastic. So here's an interesting trend that we're following. It's not a reality yet, but certain states are talking about it. California's talking about it. Florida's talking about it. Some of the others. Taxing people, like state taxes, based on the fact that they worked hours in their state, whether or not they live in that state. So if it happens, which a lot of people question, but this is what they're talking about, is so if you worked X number of hours in California this year, when you do your taxes, you have to pay California state taxes.
Oh boy, for the touring musician, that's a nightmare.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what kind of nightmare would that be?
Oh my goodness, please. Yeah, that would be absolutely ridiculous. You have to keep track of all that stuff and then fill out 50 forms.
Right, basically. Yeah.
Oh.
And if that caught on in other countries, and then other countries were like, oh, well, they worked hours here too, in Germany and in Italy and in Japan. Yeah. And so we want our taxes too on that, right?
They do. I mean, I know, I think it was France. They withheld money.
Wow.
Yeah, if you're over there working. It's bizarre.
Maybe that's where they got the idea.
Yeah. Damn French.
Oh, holy cow! Yeah, we're gonna. So we're gonna be tracking that one closely.
Yeah, that's bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of that one.
It's a nightmare for businesses, but I can only imagine for musicians that are in a different city every night. Yeah, holy cow! Now, when you come into a town, is there anything that you do to kind of drum up interest and attendance within that local area?
Yeah, usually, there'll be, I guess advertising or whatever, and, put it up on the website where we're going to be and stuff. And if there's a lot of times, you get into a town early, you go see a local band, and maybe get up and play and stuff, and then everybody at that club knows you guys are somewhere the next night.
Oh, that's sneaky.
It works good, yeah, it works good. Definitely works good.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Cool. All right. Well, that's what I've got. Now, what else is going on in the music industry business side that I should ought to know about?
You pretty much got it all. I mean, like what was Peter was talking about the Spin Doctors charging. They want to charge him $150 for his platinum record, It's like that. You know, that's all clamped down. All those little perks you would get. You know. I mean, I think Madonna even charged me, and that was back in the '80s. Charged me $115 for my "Who's That Girl" platinum album. It's like, and they used to just give it. It was like kind of like unwritten law that if you were a musician on the record, you would in the mail you'd get the gold record or the platinum record. Now it's just like, you know, those perks have gone away, and they're hurting. I mean, I know the record companies now, if they sign somebody, they usually want part of the publishing. They want part of the merchandising.
Oh. Okay.
And the budgets have gone from like, you know, $250,000 to make a record to like 20.
Oh.
Because they got very hip to the fact that when all the Pro Tools and digital recording came out, guys were making records, like I said, in their houses and taking the budget and pocketing it. You know, pretty much they'd go out and buy a computer, a Mac and stuff, and make the record for $10,000, and you know they'd have $240,000. So they caught on to that, so that they axed that. They're just like, oh, we know you can do a record for $20,000. You know.
So you're still basically making the record yourself.
Yeah.
So
why do you need
what
a
do you
record
need
company?
them for?
That's the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. They don't really need them. And I mean, I could see it if you're a giant, you know, money making machine like a Britney Spears or somebody like that, or you know, Christina Aguilera. Those acts. The record companies, you know, they'll pump a lot of money into them because they know that they'll make huge amounts of money. But I think for the creative artist, you know, the ones, like I said, that are going to play what they want and stuff that I like to listen to, it's better off on your own. Like I said, you'll make more money, like I said, selling 5,000 records than if you did 100.
Right.
On a label, you know.
Well, and if you can have, you know, even 1,000 just rabid fans.
Sure.
You know, then that's just going to spread out from there. You really don't need to be selling out a stadium.
Oh my goodness! You sell 5,000 CDs online, even if you charge $10, it's $50,000.
There you go.
That's good money.
Yeah.
For just, you know, and you don't have to answer to those knuckleheads who don't know anything about music anyway.
Just the pure creativity, whatever.
They're businessmen. They don't know anything about music. You know, they're there for numbers. You know? Right. That's about it.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for sitting down with us.
Hey, that's great. That was great. Good questions. Good questions. I'm glad I had the answers to them.